fans, here are the first 11s, beginning with the away side, Bavarian United SC. In goal, number 25, Mia Hurd. Number 4, Rebecca Steckman. Number 6, Abby Reinl. Number 8, Caden Schmidt. Number 9, Sophia Englund. Number 13, Mary Strobel. Number 14, Anya Gulbranson. Number 16, Kayla Duane. Number 17, Senna Haynes. Number 20, Meg Maricki. Number 21, Megan Cornell. Bavarian United SC is coached by Chris Tadley. And now for the starting 11 for your FC Milwaukee Torrent. Number 7, Layla Kelbell. Number 0, in goal, Kate Hotma. Number 9, Lola Wojcik. Number 12, Emily Petrine. Number 13, Cameron Reese. Number 18, Adriana Alberts. Number 20, Mello Novak. Number 22, Ashlyn Skinner Barrett. Number 23, Maya Wilson. Number 27, Greta Hansen. And number 28, Abby Hall. Your Torrent are coached by Andy Davi.
Please rise. And now, to honor America and all that it stands for, as well as our freedom and those who serve to protect it, the playing of our national anthem.
The FC Milwaukee Torrent women may be four-time WPSL division champions, but if they claim a fifth title in 2026, it will be their most hard-fought and perhaps memorable one to date. The Torrent have had much to overcome in 2026. First off, just having a home field was a challenge after an August flood destroyed the Hart Park surface last year and much of the Torrent's property. Though Hart Park was ready just in time for the start of the Torrent's home schedule this year, it started with a season-opening loss on the road at Chicago House AC by a 4-0 final. Throw in a 3-3 draw against Bavarians on June 14th, and the Torrent have looked and felt behind the 8-ball much of the season. But if there's one thing about Andy Davi's women's side, it never says die. A week and a half ago, the Torrent took on House again here at Hart Park and slogged out a 1-0 victory with an 84th-minute goal by Lola Wojcik. Then, high drama last Wednesday as the Torrent went up 2-1 on the Green Bay Glory just before a 78th-minute lightning delay. Then Glory pulled level at 2-2 in the 89th minute after the delay. Then Torrent scored a goal that has literally gone viral as it came not only in the second minute of stoppage time, but literally as the lights extinguished here at Hart Park due to an obscure city ordinance, and we'll talk about that more in a little while. You'll see the standings on your screen momentarily, but remember that if the Torrent took a draw in either the House match or the Glory match, which they ended up winning 3-2 as that goal by Ellie Redmond was allowed, tonight would have a completely different story, as they'd have to get all 3 points against the Bavarian side that instead now trails the Torrent by a point despite not having lost a match this season, though Babs does have 3 draws to their name. Instead, Torrent win the division with a winner draw tonight, though again, neither will be easy against the Babs. A season of rising from the ashes for FC Milwaukee Torrent. The only question now, whether these Phoenix can take flight one more time. From Hart Park in Wauwatosa, it's time for FC Milwaukee Torrent Women's Soccer. Good evening, everyone. Dan Pfeiffer with you from high above the west side of Hart Park, as tonight FC Milwaukee Torrent, record of 7-1-1 with 22 points in hand in the WPSL's Central Region Lakeshore Conference, goes up against Bavarian United SC, the only team left that can catch the Torrent in the conference, this being the last night of regular season play in the conference, entering with a record of 6-0-3 and 21 points. This is it. The de facto championship match in the Lakeshore Conference. Torrent winner draw, they advance, they fall. Bavarians are conference champs. It has been a crazy path to get here for the Torrent, but they're on the precipice of continuing their dynastic play this evening, and we are underway here at Hart Park. The Bavarians wearing gray tops with blue numerals and blue shorts along with white socks. The Torrent in their traditional light blue to dark blue gradient home kits, also wearing white socks this evening. Tonight's weather is perhaps best described by Roosevelt E. Roosevelt, as played by Adrian Cronauer, as played by Robin Williams in the movie Good Morning Vietnam. It's hot! 92 degrees, mostly clear. Winds out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour, although gusting upwards of 30 miles per hour at times, so look for that. That means blowing from the right to the left on your computer screen, the direction the Torrent are moving in at the start of this match. Humidity is down from what it was yesterday when the Torrent men took on Bavarians in a Wisconsin Cup match that Bavarians won 1-0, as we get a ball played towards goal, straight off by Layla Kelbel, as she's able to dispossess the Bavarians inside the attacking third, but it's handled easily by Bavarian keeper Mia Hurd. Again, less humid tonight, 53%, so maybe a little bit easier to run around, but still, whenever it's above 90 degrees in Wisconsin, it's going to be warm and uncomfortable. Waves at 3 to 4 feet on Lake Michigan, subsiding to 1 to 2 feet a little later on. These two teams did meet back on Sunday, June 14th, and it was a 3-3 draw, one of those 3 draws that Bavarians has on the season. Again, Bavarians have not lost a match on the campaign, but they do have those 3 draws, and that's why they are currently trailing Torrent in the standings by 2 points, despite the fact Torrent do have a loss. That came to Chicago House, very first match of the season, as we talked about in our intro, as well as that draw against Bavarians up on the north side when these two teams played earlier this year. Torrent were up 3-0 in that match after a Lola Wojcik goal in the 77th minute. But Bavarians, who are offside here, got goals in the 82nd, 90th, and 2nd minute of second half stoppage time in that match. Megan Cornell scored her lone goal of the season thus far. And keep in mind, she is back out there in the first 11 tonight for Bavarians this evening in that 2nd minute of stoppage time. Then shortly after that, proceeded to get her 2nd yellow card. So Babs actually finished that match with 10, although, again, it was deep into stoppage time in the second half, so it's not like they spent a ton of time without an 11th player on the pitch. Nonetheless, as mentioned, Cornell is out there. She's part of the back line for Bavarians. Normally, Torrent have had good possession early on in this contest, and when we say early on, we are just in the 3rd minute of this one as we settle into the action. That's a through ball that is handled by Mia Hurd, former Cedarburg Bulldog. Shout out to Matt Menzel. That's a place where he does a lot of work. Sometimes hear him on these Torrent broadcasts. Mia Hurd is headed to Marquette University. She just finished up her career at Cedarburg, where she did play for Cedarburg when they made it to the WIAA state tournament when she was a sophomore a couple of years ago. We're going to have a set piece now for Bavarians. Foul called against FC Milwaukee Torrent. Over the top of the ball for the Babs will be Caden Schmidt, product of Nicolay High School, playing her college soccer at UW Parkside. Plays the ball over the top, but that's an easy one for Kate Hopma to pick up. Comes off her line, picks it up at the edge of the 6, fakes her way around the Bavarian player, and then looks down the pitch to punt this one away. They've been around at the amateur ranks on the men's side that long, have a number of USASA National Amateur Championships to their name on the men's side. Women's side has not been around quite as long, but has had good success. They tied with the Torrent atop the conference standings. If you want to go back to the year 2022, it was Bavs and Torrent that finished level atop the standings at the end of the season. Of course, Torrent can still count that among their 4 straight conference championships that they have won coming into tonight, and they're trying to make it 5 this evening. There were a couple years in there where the Torrent were just absolutely unstoppable. This year's been a little bit more of a struggle at times for the Torrent, but they're still right where they want to be coming into tonight's match. It hasn't necessarily felt that way throughout the season. When you drop that match to House to start the year, it puts you in a spot where you're concerned the whole season that you are leaving your fate to what happens throughout the year. But huge win for Torrent against House again a week and a half ago here at Hart Park. And then Bavarians also won at House this past Saturday. That was a big win for them, 3-1, essentially eliminating House from the playoff chase. House scored in the 41st minute, but then Strobel scored in the 54th and 65th minutes, and Knowles scored in the 87th to seal things away for the Bavarians down at Langhorse Field in Elmhurst, Illinois. Bavarians over the top of the ball now. That will go out for a throw-in for Bavarians in the 6th minute of this match. And interesting to note, both in that match between Bavarians and Torrent earlier this year and that match for Bavarians that was a key victory for them against House, no goals for Senna Haynes, who is out there tonight. Top striker for Bavarian. She has 7 goals on the season, former Kimberly Papermaker, playing her college soccer with the Phoenix of the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, out to touch throw-in for the Bavarians. But Haynes, a dangerous threat for the Bavarians. Also a very good defense for Bavarians, and that's common when you see a team that has 3 draws through 9 matches, has a record where teams struggle to beat them, but also where they sometimes struggle to get that final goal to get the 3 points. Little run for the Bavarians. Falling down at the edge of the 18 was Haynes. She gets back up, and they're going to say that there was a foul against the Bavarians in the process of trying to get the ball inside the 18. So we'll have a free kick for the Torrent. But Bavarians have only surrendered 8 goals through 9 matches on the campaign thus far, whereas the Torrent's manner of play this year has been, at times, Milwaukee Wave-like is what we've said, comparable to what you see in arena soccer, where you have some of these matches where you get the scores of 3-3, and that win that Torrent had against Chicago Kicks over the weekend, 6-2, where they went up 2 goals early in the contest. Cameron Reese scored in the 8th and 22nd minutes, but then Kicks came back to tie it at 2-2, although in the second half, the Torrent got 4 goals from 3 different players, including 2 goals by Abby Hall, to take that 6-2 victory. So we were saying coming into this one when we were talking about this in the booth before the match, this could be one that could end up being 1-1. This is one that could end up being 6-5. You just never know what's going to happen when you get 2 teams with somewhat contrasting styles, as that's a ball played forward but too far forward for Ashlyn Skinner-Barrett, back in her familiar spot on the left wing for FC Milwaukee Torrent tonight. Mia Hurd sends it back down the pitch for Bavarians. Scrap for possession, but a good collapse on the part of the Torrent. Adriana Alberts back out there for FC Milwaukee Torrent tonight. Relatively recent addition to the Torrent roster, although she is a Brookfield East product and also spent time at Marquette. Bavarians now on the run. Ball played inside the 18. That's a ball looking for Senna Haynes, but played about 3 steps too far forward for her. Kate Hopma able to pick that up easily. She'll send it back from whence it came along the ground after the Bavarians head back down the pitch to return to their defensive shape. Of course, a big night also for soccer just around the country. United States men's national team playing Bosnia-Herzegovina tonight in World Cup action. A couple of results earlier today. England, unlike 250 years ago, getting a victory on American soil. 2-1 win for them, and then also an extra time victory for Belgium today, 3-2. So Kevin De Bruyne will play on with the Belgians. Harry Kane will play on with the English, and we'll see if the likes of Christian Pulisic and the Americans can also play on after tonight as well. We'll pop in and we'll give a quick check on what's going on with that match every once in a while. That is in the 12th minute right now, and hopefully you've got that match and our match on dual screens, or however it may be. Still 0-0 between the Americans and the Bosnians. Let's not forget the Herzegovinians as well, too. Both of them together. Kind of a co-op program, if you will. Taken away by the Bavarians. Slow to get back on the run. Deflected out. Good work by Maya Wilson. Throw in for Bavs. They're going to need another ball all the way from this side of the pitch. And heck of a throw, putting her hands on the back of her head so she doesn't get hit in the back of the head, is Emily Petring. Part of the attacking front for the Torrent, along with Layla Kelbell. Fortunately, she's safe. And nice throw from our fourth official. Our center ref tonight is Wes Bartels. Had a chance to have a quick conversation with him before the match. Refs didn't need much of a warm-up tonight. I don't think anyone here tonight needs much of a warm-up. As mentioned, it is hot, hot, hot this evening, to quote Buster Poindexter. We will have hydration breaks tonight. This is the ball played back by the Bavarians. They are still in control. However, good challenge by Kelbell. She gets it back, edge of the 18. Nice step over, looking for a cross. Makes it, but it goes too high over the top. Skinner Barrett will try and chase it down. Does get over to it and gets a touch with the left foot, but can't really put much pace on it. It goes across the goal line well wide of the goal, and it will be a goal kick for Mia Hurd. 11th minute now. Torrent have had most of the possession in this match thus far. And again, keep in mind, win or draw, Torrent take the Lakeshore Conference. So, to an extent tonight, it's bend but don't break for the Torrent, but if you can get a goal, you take a goal. And you don't want to fall into too much of the Jose Mourinho park the bus formation, because this is a Bav side that can finish. Sometimes you can get into that mode where you're thinking, as long as we don't give anything up, we're good. Well, that's when all of a sudden you get caught flat-footed defensively. Andy Davi certainly not going to let that happen tonight. He'd love nothing more than for Torrent to get a goal or two early on in this one, and then, yes, definitely, by all means, at that point, you hold on however you can. Ball played into the middle, tackle inside the 18. Whistle is not blown. Bavs take possession. Wes Bartels says play on. Taken back by the Torrent. Play to the near side. Skinner Barrett trying to get some space. Well marked by Sophia England. Attempted cross. Deflected. Then played out. Controlled again by the Torrent. Greta Hansen coming forward out of the back. Coming up as well, Adriana Alberts. Tries to play a ball over to the far side. Wilson was making a run, has to come back to it. 1-2 ball back towards Wilson, but it'll go out into touch, and it'll be a throw-in for the Bavarians. Sophia England, outstanding performer for Whitefish Bay and the Blue Dukes. Robbie Dubinsky, one of the powerhouse programs really in the history of high school girls soccer in the state of Wisconsin. You had both Sophia and Lucia on those Whitefish Bay teams when they were there. Sophia's sister. Sophia is now playing her college soccer at St. Thomas. Lucia transferring to Iowa after starting her college career as a Butler Bulldog. Bavs with possession. Rowicki. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Further back, Megan Cornell mentioned that she was the goal scorer that made it level at 3 in that first match and then got sent off. Aggressive header by Skinner Barrett. No one on the other end of it, though. Bavs will control. Asking for a run on the part of her teammates is Dwayne. She gets one, but in the end, Bavs too far forward. Flag goes up offside. Babs had a lot of players forward there. Had some options. Haynes was up there. Strobel, former Cedarburg product, playing her college soccer for David Nikolic down in Evanston, Illinois at Northwestern. Exciting times at Northwestern as well with their new football stadium getting completed, and they did a lot of work to the soccer facility in order to make it something that the football team could play at. Also had the Women's National Lacrosse Championships down there, too, and they have had a very good women's lacrosse team for a number of years at Northwestern. Ball played to the near side. Too hard, though, and it'll go out into touch. Northwestern's women's lacrosse team is coached by Kelly Amante Hiller, and if you recognize the name Amante, it's because you might know that name from hockey, and that's her husband. Shot up and over the top. An outstanding shot for Lola Wojcik, but a little bit over the mark. Torrent have been threatening a little bit here. Had the ball inside the 18 a few different times. That was a shot from distance for Wojcik, and Torrent have a number of players who can strike from distance. We know about the free kick abilities of Greta Hansen, of course. Abby Hall as well. This will be a goal kick, however, for Bavarians after that one went just high. First touch by the Torrent. A few 50-50 balls. Maya Wilson plays it to space and is able to control, although she tries to play it back towards the keeper, and that turns into a great ball for Bavarians. Move past the keeper, shot on and in! Oh, an error by Maya Wilson. She played a better ball for the Bavs than the Bavs have probably played for themselves through the night, and they take a 1-0 lead. Need to get a confirmation on the goal scorer real quick here. Taking a second look. Again, Wilson played a ball. It was fielded by Strobel. Strobel had the goal. Unassisted, although if you had to give an assist, you'd have to give it to Wilson. It comes in the 17th minute.
First Bavarian United SC goal scored by number 13, Mary Strobel. The goal came in the 17th minute. Goal.
Tragedy for the Torrent early on, and Maya Wilson, not a bad decision necessarily to play the ball back to the keeper, but if you're going to play it, you have to play it with pace. Instead, Strobel was the only one there, and now the Torrent, if they still have designs on winning this conference, are going to have to score at least one goal. They left themselves a lot of time to do it. Hard tackle. Again, no whistle. At times this season, the Torrent in the back have had their struggles. More so than what we've seen in the past. Cheeky ball played by Hall. Torrent maintained possession. Room on the right wing, taking advantage of that opportunity. Wojcik finds Skinner Barrett, plays a simple ball forward. A lot of Bavarians in the area. Finally, they do clear. And like I said, you almost couldn't dream of a better ball for the Bavarians. Definitely put the keeper, Hopma, in a very tough spot. She came off her line and tried to cut down the angle, but calm, good decision-making by Mary Strobel. Made one move, beat the keeper, and then just had to hit it hard enough to get it across the goal line between the pipes. And that's another ball that looks pretty good for the Bavarians. Fortunately, it's played back. Torrent in the back right now, having their issues, to be honest with you. They've already paid the price once there. You had Melo Nowak, who is out there getting the cap for the first time tonight for FC Milwaukee Torrent, Waukesha South product. That's a ball over the top. Tough challenge. Hansen takes down the player. Referee Wes Bartels indicates she got ball. Everything beside that, simply elementary. Play on, says Bartels. And the Torrent do exactly that. To the near side and Hall. Hall has room, takes it forward with a couple dribbles, then decides to settle, plays it back. Turn around for Hansen. She'll play it all the way back to the keeper, Hopma, who is outside the 18 right now. Hopma over to the far side and Nowak. Torrent have had some inconsistency in the back as well, which is something you don't often see for this FC Milwaukee Torrent side. We did see Tori Crivello start in the back for FC Milwaukee Torrent against Glory. She is a reserve tonight. So it's Nowak who's getting the opportunity this evening. Just finished up her senior season at Carroll University. Whistling a foul against Torrent. Bavarians bring on a host of subs at this point. Chloe Klein, Melina Knowles, Marissa Greshik, Peyton Wetzel. I believe there may have even been one more. We'll name it if we run across it, but Bavarians. McKenna Brunig. I believe that might be Breinig. My apologies. Sauk Prairie High School product. St. Cloud State. Ball over the top. That's Breinig chasing it down. Again, on this warm evening, it may serve Bavarians well to have a semblance of a rotation where they shuffle players on and off. Free substitution in the WPSL. Players can come on and off, so no sense in not doing it if you're Bavarian manager Chris Tadley. Andy Davi has been known to do that before with his side, typically against some of the lesser competition that they play in the Lakeshore Conference, the likes of, with apologies. The scoreline tells the story, though. If you look at both matches, that's a good ball forward for Bavarians. Crossed, but handled by Hopma. The likes of Milwaukee City AFC. That Chicago kick side that Torrent was able to defeat 6-2 in Chicago over the weekend. Sliding ball for Wojcik. Deflected over to the far side. Cameron Reese. Bavarians applying more pressure now with the fresh legs out there on the pitch. Let's see if Torrent can take advantage. Wojcik being challenged from behind. That is Chloe Klein. Klein, former Sussex Hamilton Charger. Now playing her college soccer at Loyola of Chicago. Formerly an Illinois State Redbird. Out to touch. Throw in for the Bavarians. And now we will have our stoppage for our hydration break here in the 23rd minute of this match. But a good start for Bavarians. And remember, if Bavarians can get the victory, they can also claim the conference title. If you want to refer to it as a first quarter, as some have taken to doing with the mandatory hydration breaks at the World Cup, the Bavarians claim the first quarter 1-0. And they now have the advantage here as we pause to make sure everyone gets some fluids on this very hot day here in Wauwatosa. But again, it was a misplayed ball on the part of Maya Wilson of the Torrent. Was trying to play it back to the keeper, but almost would have been better for Torrent if Wilson just would have not touched it at all. If she just would have kept it on her feet with the dribble. Instead, she put it in the absolute perfect spot for Mary Strobel to take it with the dribble, attack goal, and score. Came right on the edge of the 16th and 17th minutes. The video has the ball going in at 15:59, but there's a slight difference between the clock on the video and the clock on the scoreboard, so we called it the 17th minute. Nonetheless, Strobel didn't even have to look to see if she needed a teammate to help her out. And the only player she had to beat was the keeper. The only Torrent player in the area was Abby Hall, and Strobel, with the sense to put enough pace on it that Hall took one or two steps towards the ball and realized she wasn't going to catch up with it, and it rolled easily into the goal for the Bavarians to get their first goal of this contest. And with this hydration break, Andy Davi, a chance to talk with the team and say, all right, hey, we've got to get at least one. That being said, this has been the story of the 2026 season for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Nothing has come easy for this Torrent side. Adversity? More like familiarity. The Torrent have fought through all season long, though. They'll try and do it one more time tonight. And, of course, still a lot of football left to be played here. This match in the 26th minute, during the pregame, after the announcing of the Bavarian starting lineup, a number of jets flew over Hart Park, and a little bit of a treat tonight as apparently those jets we get an offside call against the Bavarians. The Brewers are having their 250th Birthday of America celebration at American Family Field as part of their game tonight against the Reds, and the Jets were part of a flyover for that game over at, again, American Family Field, a little bit south and east of here, but on their return path, those Jets flying right over Hart Park, and we do mean right over the top of Hart Park. Everyone took pause. It looked like it was literally part of the pregame show. So, our thanks to the fine men and women, part of our Air Force. Guessing that's the Air Force. Of course, anyone who's watched Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick knows that the United States Navy also has its flying force as well. So, Blue Angels are technically Navy, as being pointed out by Kevin O'Connor, our broadcast producer. The whole thing with Myanmar and, again, you can go and watch Top Gun in your free time. There's enough good stuff on tonight in terms of just soccer alone, such that you don't have to switch over to the Paramount Network or Paramount Plus or whatever means you want to have to watch either of those classic films, and they are both classics. Out to touch, throw in for FC Milwaukee Torrent. I could wax poetic about Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick all night long, but we've got a good enough soccer match to talk about here, especially since the Torrent have work to do to try and get that goal back from Bavarians that they surrendered in the 17th minute. Torrent do send a substitute to the table as Ashlyn Skinner-Barrett is surrounded by three Bavarians with the ball, but she's able to get it away to Cameron Reese. Not the first touch that Reese wanted, couldn't keep her momentum going. Now tries to play a ball through to Bavarians, but plays it too far on the far side, and it goes out across the goal line for a Bavarian goal kick. Torrent will get their substitute here. More than happy to take the penny off, given the temperatures. Haley Johnson. She will come on for FC Milwaukee Torrent, replacing Cameron Reese.
Coming up for the Torrent, number 19, Haley Johnson.
Haley Johnson has seen a lot of soccer in the Milwaukee area through the years. Former Tremper Trojan out of Kenosha. Played her college soccer at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Spent some time playing professionally in Australia, but is back here in America right now. She's actually played for a couple different amateur clubs in the area this summer as well. Saw her on the end of season roster for RKC Third Coast. They play in USL 2 or USLW. Men's side plays in USL 2. My apologies, but They just finished up their campaign over the weekend with a defeat at the hands of Minnesota Aurora, which has won the last 5 conference championships in the Heartland Conference in USLW. Number of players finding ways to get a little bit of extra soccer in before the end of the summer. Big collision play on, says our referee. Possession in the hands of the Torrent. Sent away, though, by Chloe Klein. And now the Bavarians have it with some space. Ball over the top. Nowak. There to defend, but the Bavarians can't keep it on. Throw in for Nowak and FC Milwaukee Torrent. Thrown in along the touchline, bounces over the top of everybody. That might be some of Nowak's inexperience. Again, this is a very springy Hart Park surface. We mentioned that they had to replace the surface really just before the start of the season, whistling a foul against Torrent. Wojciech too aggressive against Greshik. Free kick to come for the Bavarians from a dangerous spot. 31st minute of this match, and the Torrent already down 1-0. Last thing they want is to go down 2-0. Sophia England returns to midfield. She will re-enter after this set piece at some point for Bavarians. Sent in by Cornell. Headed once, then twice by the Torrent. Torrent momentarily get possession back, but it's sent towards the attacking third by Cornell. Now cleared fully by the Torrent. Johnson on the near side, just off the bench. Deflection, she wanted a handball call, didn't get it. Now we do get it after the fact, as our referee Wes Bartels rules no advantage. Torrent restart quickly. Although Wes Bartels says, a little too quick for my tastes. Let's set that down and do this a little more formally. Have to make sure that ball is fully stopped and not too far forward from where the foul was occurred. In fact, not any further forward than where the foul was occurred. Hall with the left foot on the set piece, headed away at first by Bavarians. Wojciech tries to just take one touch, ends up putting some backspin on it. Didn't strike the ball where she wanted to. Pretty good if that's a pitching wedge. Unfortunately, though, this isn't the 4th at Whitnall Park, and we have a brief pause now as we have a Bavarian player who needs to relace their shoes.
Tour fans, let's hear for our incredible Silver All-Star sponsors who help make game day happen. A huge thank you to Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, Oconomowoc, Splat DPI, Confluence Graphics, New Custom Printing, and our amazing food provider for every match, Katrina Cantina.
We do have 2 substitutes at the table right now for Torrent. We see Shea Krakowski come to the table. Mentioned already that Sophia England is back at midfield for Bavarians and is looking to come in, and we should see both of those substitutes come on now with that ball played out to touch.
Coming out for the Bavarians, number 9, Sophia England. And coming out for the Torrent, number 4, Shea Krakowski.
Krakowski comes on for Wojciech to give the Torrent a little bit of a different attacking look up front. Meanwhile, for Bavarians, as Abby Reinl, whose name we have not mentioned much through the first 1/3 of this match, who will take a seat for Babs. Flying play on the ball on the part of Klein. Controlled by FC Milwaukee Torrent after that, though. Alberts to the middle, taken down, whistle and foul against Bavarians. Breinig, too physical. Torrent more willing to take the quick restart than the position, but Wes Bartels says, I'd rather have you take it from up here, thank you very much. Abby Hall. She's dangerous from all distances, look out. Plays the ball to the edge of the 18, headed at first by the central back line of Bavarians. Twisted around as Alberts loses possession. First ball not great for the Bavarians, but the Torrent can't hold on. That's a ball played down the pitch, controlled by Bavarian. Strobel already has one goal in the match. Marked by Nowak, gets past her momentarily, played off of Hansen, out to touch, corner kick, Bavarian United SC. Strobel's calm presence over the top of the ball and multitude of moves have made a difference in this match thus far. This time she wins a corner kick. That goal earlier was her 5th of this WPSL season for Bavarians. She's had some health issues at Northwestern, was unable to play in the 2024 season, only made 7 appearances in 2025, but was a team MVP for that Cedarburg High School team that went to state. Ball into the middle, headed towards goal, just wide of the mark. Danger, danger as Klein gets the clear header in front of the goal off the corner, but it goes wide in the 35th minute. Bavarians almost double their fawn. Strobel also saw her brother Trevor go to Northwestern. He played football and got his graduate degree from NU. Substitute on for Bavarians. Abby Reinl returns.
Coming back for the Bavarians, number 6, Abby Reinl.
She replaces Strobel, who has, again, worked very hard tonight and does have the goal. That is the difference in this match right now. That'll go out off Bavs and Klein. Over the top quickly for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Kelbell working hard. Plays the cross before it goes out over the end line. No one on the other end for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Cleared wide by Bavarians. Now they send it down the pitch. Have to move backwards a little bit to find some open space. Send a purposeless ball down the pitch as controlled by Torrent and Hansen. She'll play it over to the opposite side. Forward to Kelbell. Layla Kelbell has had an outstanding season for FC Milwaukee Torrent. 10 goals on the campaign. Currently the top scorer in the Lakeshore Conference. She will be a target for the Torrent as they try and get that goal that they need. Shot taken. Diving attempt at the save. Pushing it out across the goal line is Hurd. Good attempt for the Torrent. That was not Kelbell. Rather, Shea Krakowski taking that shot. Correction. Emily Petring with that shot. Apologies for FC Milwaukee Torrent. And while Hurd wasn't necessarily spectacularly challenged, she did have to go to the dive and could not keep it in the field of play. Smart decision, though, by Hurd to push it out for the corner rather than risk a rebound. Bavarians wanted a handball call in the box on the Torrent, although the Torrent couldn't get a shot off of that corner kick. They maintain possession, though, edge of the 18. 3 players around the ball, and Bavarians take it away. Deflected away, though, by Torrent, and that gets Bavarians forward. Although that's a ball sent forward. Contact was made. And we do get the whistle and the foul call. Adriana Alberts was the one who took that shot. Couldn't tell initially. The referee pointed towards the goal, and it's tough to tell sometimes whether that point is an indication of a goal kick or a foul. He is awarding the foul and the set piece for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Number of players coming back for Bavarians. Becca Steckman, Senna Haynes, Kaiten Schmidt, and Anya Gulbrandsen. Among those coming off, Klein, Dwayne, Carly Greenthal, and others. Corner kick for the Torrent. Contact made in the box against Skinner Barrett. No foul called. Controlled, though, on the back half by Abby Hall. Trying to get past Gulbrandsen. Cannot at first. Gulbrandsen with a back heel, but the Torrent are there for it. Cross from the edge of the 18. No on the first shot. Second shot right at a Bavarians player. wanted a handball call against Sophia England, who was standing on the far post, didn't get it. Instead, the referee awards the corner kick. Boy, that looked dangerously close to being a handball against Sophia England. She had her hands right in front of her body, and it was a shot right at her midsection. We'll have to watch it back to see exactly what happened. Nonetheless, corner kick for FC Milwaukee Torrent in the 39th minute. Sent in by Krakowski, headed towards goal, up and over, and we'll get another corner for the Torrent. Kevin O'Connor saying that it appeared from his view that Sophia England just turned her body enough to avoid the handball call. Torrent get a second corner. Kept her hands in close enough to her body such that it didn't make contact with her arm. But it was a bang-bang play. Another corner for Krakowski. This time they go near post, right in the middle, almost an Olympico, but Bavarians cleared off the line. Controlled momentarily by Torrent, now fully cleared by the Bavarians. Some backspin on that ball towards the touch line. Maya Wilson. Couple touches on the ball, goes out 2-touch, throw in for Bavs. Linesman disagrees, and now the referee changes his mind. Wes Bartels points in the opposite direction and awards the throw into the Torrent. Wilson spinning. Whistle. Foul call against Bavarians. At least we believe it's a foul call. Yep, Wilson able to play it along the ground. Spinning ball sent towards the near side, deflected by Bavarians, but controlled by Torrent. Skinner Barrett, lots of room in front of her down the left wing. She'll take it to the edge of the 18, marked by England. England gets enough of a contact on it that it skips away from Skinner Barrett and is picked up by Mia Hurd. That's good teamwork by both Sophia England and Mia Hurd, former North Shore Conference foes on the high school level, Cedarburg and Whitefish Bay. Now, though, teammates with Bavarians. Good step over on the part of Kelbell as Torrent have possession back. Kelbell cross into the box over the top of everybody, and that'll go out for a goal kick for Bavarians. Torrent are getting opportunities here in the final minutes of this first half, but Bavarians holding on to that 1-0 advantage that they got with the goal back in the 17th minute. It has been as advertised thus far, except for the fact that the Torrent have not been able to get that goal that they've wanted. Again, a draw is good enough for the Torrent. However, Bavarians have had opportunities in this one as well to expand upon that advantage. Been a good match both ways. Wouldn't expect less when these two sides get together. American men have scored. Have a 1-0 advantage over Bosnia-Herzegovina right now. That match entering first half stoppage time. Our match, still a few minutes away from that. Started a couple minutes before the men. Out to touch, throw in for FC Milwaukee Torrent here.
Quick update on the USA Bosnia-Herzegovina match. USA has scored 1-0.
Nice little cheer from the crowd as Kevin O'Connor makes an announcement over the Hart Park loudspeaker system about the goal for the United States. One way in which we are all united together this evening. Whether you're a Bavarians fan, whether you are a Torrent supporter, heck, even if you're watching at home and you support the Glory or Chicago House or Milwaukee City AFC, Chicago Kicks, at the end of the day, we're all wearing red, white, and blue tonight in terms of rooting for the men. So good for them. Hopefully they can get out of the round of 32. Near side, Skinner Barrett for the Torrent here in Milwaukee. Too heavy of a touch for her. Cleared away by Bavarians. Controlled, though, on the near side by Abby Hall. Hall taken down. Whistle. Foul called against Senna Haynes. Hall again. Heads over. Picks up the ball. Looks to perhaps restart quickly. Right in the area for Bavarians to slow things down is Reinl. That might be a little bit of gamesmanship on Reinl's part as she runs right through the path before she gives 10 yards to Hall. Hall, though, setting this up. Into the middle. Headed by Bavarians. Back towards goal. Nearly an own goal. As Bavarians played that one just wide of the far post. Dangerous touch by Meg Milwaukee. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish player, Milwaukee, almost created disaster. Instead, though, Bavarians will happily accept just a corner for FC Milwaukee Torrent rather than the other result had Milwaukee put that one a little bit further to the west. Into the middle. Headed first by Bavarians, controlled, though, by Skinner Barrett. Again, tries to play a ball towards goal, and this has been an issue for the Torrent tonight. It seems like these crosses coming from the near side, they just aren't catching the right part of the ball. Second time tonight that we've seen Torrent with the ball in that spot on the pitch. But once again, not really a shot, not really a cross, not really anything other than a reason for Mia Hurd to have to literally run through the trees and almost to the train tracks here at Art Park to go and retrieve a soccer ball and restart things for Bavarians. As we get close to stoppage time, it's looking more and more like Bavarians may head into the half with this 1-0 advantage, even though Torrent have had a lot of possession over the course of the last 10 minutes of this one. Our fourth official is kind of giving us a glare a little bit as he stares up at the clock and then looks up at us to see if we're paying attention. Once this thing hits 45, he's going to say there are 3 minutes of stoppage time that we're going to have at least.
The referees indicated 3 minutes at a time. 3 minutes.
Of course, Bavarians got a goal in second half stoppage time to equalize the match against Torrent up on the north side earlier in the campaign. Torrent maybe hoping to get one in stoppage time here, although Bavarians have possession. That's Haynes. Gets past the defender on the far side, although catching up, sliding. Haynes able to get past her. Shot off the top of the crossbar. No. Senna Haynes. Beautiful strike from a tough angle and nearly dipped it under the bar. There would have been nothing Kate Hopma could have done. Bavarians have been extremely dangerous on the counter this evening. Their one goal came on a misplayed ball by Maya Wilson. That time it was a pure counter. And Senna Haynes, again, leading Bavarians coming into tonight with 7 goals on the season. Foul against FC Milwaukee Torrent. It goes against Abby Hall. Free kick for Bavarians here. We are getting close to a minute and a half into the specified 3 minutes of stoppage time, although this will be a little extra stoppage here for Bavs. Behind the ball right now is Sophia England. A lot of Bavarians lined up at the edge of the 18. This one's a little short of maybe its intended mark. Headed out towards touch. The only question is who it went off of. Referee says it's off of Bavarians. Throw in for FC Milwaukee Torrent. If Torrent are going to try and get one here, they're going to have to move quickly. Maya Wilson. She will not be the one to throw it in. She will give it up. Nowak. Strong throw. Second ball won by Bavarians. Strong challenge on the part of FC Milwaukee Torrent, and they get possession back. Now they'll go on the counter. Look at the speed of Skinner Barrett on the near side. Through ball played towards her, but a little bit too far forward for both her and Layla Kelbell, and it just comes to the hands of Mia Hurd. Part of the reason why they call it the beautiful game is the fact that that ball, as pretty as it looks when you connect on it, is so difficult to connect on when you're being challenged by a couple defenders and you have a goalkeeper coming forward. It's the right play. By all means, it's the right play. But it is far easier said than done when it comes to what you're trying to do playing that through ball. This is just a clearance over the top, but it might be a chance for Bavarians. Haynes. Marked by Nowak on that far side. Haynes, such a good touch. Gets by Nowak. Gets by a second defender. Takes the sliding shot. That goes well wide of the mark. We are at our requisite 3 minutes. Our referee goes to his whistle, and he will point to the center spot to bring the first half to a close. Bavarians came in tonight knowing that if they could get a victory, they could continue their WPSL season. Thus far, they have accomplished all of their goals. They have a 1-0 lead on FC Milwaukee Torrent in need of all 3 points to capture the Lakeshore Conference Championship. But FC Milwaukee Torrent will get 45 plus more minutes of soccer to try and get that goal back. And if they can at least bring this match back to level, they will be the ones who claim the Lakeshore Conference Championship. It's been a very good match through 45. We'll come back with the second 45 once the sun goes a little bit further down over the horizon and once we've gotten some hydration as well up here in the box. Again, 1-0. Bavarians up on Torrent at halftime right now. This is FC Milwaukee Torrent Women's Soccer on the FC Milwaukee Torrent YouTube channel. The lights are on here at Hart Park. But as has been the case for FC Milwaukee Torrent, both figuratively and literally for them over the course of the past week and a half, the Torrent are hoping the lights don't go out on them tonight. They were able to avoid the darkness a week ago against Green Bay Glory, albeit just by a split second with that goal to get a 3-2 victory. Tonight, though, FC Milwaukee Torrent has struggled early on in this contest. Not necessarily to get possession or have opportunities, but to stop Bavarians on the counter. And it was on the counter where Mary Strobel took a misplayed ball by Maya Wilson and was able to push it past Kate Hopma coming off her line to get a goal between the 16th and 17th minutes. And that is why right now Bavarian United SC has a 1-0 advantage on FC Milwaukee Torrent as we get this second half underway here at Hart Park in Wauwatosa, just west of Milwaukee, with FC Milwaukee Torrent needing a win or a draw to claim their 5th straight Lakeshore Conference title. But right now, down 1 goal, and if this result would hold, and we are a long way from it holding as we have a big-time collision on the far side of the pitch, that's going to be a foul called, as Layla Kelbell not only goes down, but takes down a Bavarian player in the process. So we will have a set piece here for FC Milwaukee Torrent, but if this result does hold, Bavarians would end that run for FC Milwaukee Torrent and claim the Lakeshore Conference title. This is the de facto conference championship match. Abby Hall over the ball, sends it towards goal, but coming up to play it is Mia Hurd, and she's able to collect for Bavarians. Ball over the top. Torrent have to play it all the way back to their keeper in Hopma. It is headed back. I want to check on that, too. So you have both Mia Hurd and Veda Goss, who are dressed tonight as keepers for Bavarians. Trying to get an ID here on if that's Hurd or Goss back there. Goss, a Nicolay Knight alum. Trying to see if that's 25 or 23. Difficult to tell with her facing us. And indeed, actually, as we look to the bench, yeah, that is Hurd on the bench right now. So that's Veda Goss that's back there for Bavarians. Not always easy to tell when there is a keeper change out here at Hart Park, but Goss taking over for Bavarians in goal right now. And now we do see, yes, that is number 23, Veda Goss. She is finishing up this summer with Bavarians before she heads down to the state line between Illinois and Missouri to play her college soccer with the St. Louis Billikens. Throw in for Bavarians. Wes Bartel says, take a few steps backwards before you make this throw, please. Thank you very much. 2 Bavarians on that side without any Torrent around them, but one of them is standing beyond the touchline, headed out. Throw in for FC Milwaukee Torrent, who will move from your left to your right throughout this second half, at least when they have the ball. Although moving backwards with it from your right to your left is Lola Wojcik. Just trying to maintain possession, get some space, challenged by the Bavarians. No whistle, even though Wojcik goes down. She is still down. Offside flag goes up against the Bavarians. Wojcik, slow to get back to her feet after that challenge. Came from behind, but our referee, Wes Bartels, felt that the foot came through and got the ball despite the contact. Nonetheless, nothing comes of it for Bavs. And we will have a free kick for Torrent. They'll play it all the way back to Hopma. To the near side, Krakowski came on as a substitute in the first half. Maya Wilson, challenged, deflected, taken by Bavs. Good position for him, too. Gulbrandsen tried to cross, though, but good defensive work by the Torrent to keep that cross from materializing into anything dangerous. Touched by Cameron Reese. Bit of a push on the part of Becca Steckman. No whistle there. Wes Bartels has let some things go tonight, that is for sure. Going both ways, but when you have as much on the line as you do in this match this evening, allowing some physicality, not necessarily a surprise. Cleared out into touch. This will be a corner kick for the Bavarians. The counter is where Bavarians have been dangerous all night long. And, of course, now there's not really a ball in the area, so having to run over is Sophia England, and she will start by running to the corner, but then will realize, well, we need a soccer ball to make this corner kick work. Good work there by Skinner Barrett to clear that at least away from the Bavarians, although she did send it out over the goal line, so the result will be a corner kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bavarians lined up inside the 18 on the near side, as well as Abby Reinl right in front of the goal for Bavarians, trying to create issues for Kate Hopma, the keeper. Hopma signals for Adriana Alberts to come over and man Mark Reinl. Here's your corner. Over the top. Head on it by Gulbrandsen, but she sends it well wide of the mark. Over to the goal line. Flying challenge for the part of Bavarians. Ball is kicked into the face of Skinner Barrett. Skinner Barrett not real happy about it, but because it was a result of the ball, not really anything that the official can do about it. Chloe Klein was the one who played that ball, and just bad luck there, and wasn't necessarily unsportsmanlike. She was just trying to keep it on. Skinner Barrett just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Goal kick for FC Milwaukee Torrent, and after trying to play it through the right wing, Krakowski will reset things by playing it back to Hopma. A couple yards outside the 18. Now they'll try the left side, will FC Milwaukee Torrent. Ball played forward to Kelbell. Kelbell tried to pass it back. Pass was picked off. That's a ball forward on the feet of Strobel, who had the first goal for Bavarians. This time she plays it towards goal, but right into the hands of Hopman. Now Hopman will play a ball to the near side, sensing some space for Wilson. She'll play it forward. Torrent on the counter. Reese playing a ball up. Intercepted by the Bavarians. Megan Cornell, right place, right time. Bavarians will slow things down a little bit. Reinl to the far side. Right along the touchline, it is possessed. Good through ball. Looked like Babs were onside, but it'll be cleared away by Hopma as she is quick to come off her line, recognizing she is the last line of defense between Strobel and the goal. Fire trucks coming by here in Wauwatosa. Hot night. Maybe a little bit too hot for some folks in the neighborhood. Hot match as well. Hotly contested at many points. Bavarians unafraid to be physical. And again, we know how the Bavarians as a club have played throughout their history, and physicality has always been a part of what they've done. A very confident group, and you can even go back. We mentioned Chris Tadley as the manager of this club now. Once upon a time, this WPSL side was managed by Bob Spielman, who I would say is one of the 4 coaches that you would put on your southeastern Wisconsin coaching Mount Rushmore. Good reference here as we get closer to the 4th of July. Spielman has spent over 50 years with the Bavarians. Coached DSHA, coached Marquette, and we bring up Steve Lawrence every once in a while on the broadcast. Friend of mine, head coach at Marquette University High School and DSHA. If you're watching this and you're in the Milwaukee area, goodness knows you know about what Marquette and DSHA have done on the soccer ranks at the high school level. And you talk with Steve, who, again, is part of that coaching lineage from Bob Spielman, and he'll say, hey, I'm a good coach, but I'm nothing compared to Bob. And we'll get a corner kick here for FC Milwaukee Torrent off the deflection. But, yeah, of all of the great coaching names that have come through this area, we've talked about Robbie Dubinsky with Whitefish Bay, college ranks, Louis Bennett, Dan Harris once upon a time at UWM. Mentioned Jimmy Banks. All the work he did at MSOE after an outstanding playing career. Of course, Bob Gansler, cannot forget him, one-time U.S. men's national team coach. Corner kick for the Torrent. Far post, over the top of everybody. Petring will try and chase it down before it goes out across the touchline. She does get to it. Has Wilson, plays it back to Wilson, outside the 18. Nice step over by Wilson. Trying to avoid the defender, plays it off of her. It goes out to touch. We'll have a throw-in for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Klein, not happy with the call, went to pick it up herself. Maybe a little bit of gamesmanship also there, as she might have just been trying to disrupt the throw-in for Wilson. Ball played into the middle, challenged. Wojcik ends up having that ball go out, and it will be ruled to be off Torrent and off the Torrent bench, as in the ball physically went off the bench. Made a rattle and clang as we get a throw-in now for Bavarians, but it is something I really enjoy talking about. The last 30 years is a dispossession on the part of Bavarians. Goldbranson, edge of the 18, tries to play a ball in the middle. Great recovery by FC Milwaukee Torrent, and Greta Hansen will play that out into touch. The former Arrowhead Warhawk. Spectacular recovery defensively. Throw in for Bavarians. I was extremely fortunate. My college days were at UWM in the early 2000s, where Louis Bennett was perhaps in peak form as coach of the Milwaukee Panthers. That's a good ball played to the far side. Skinner Barrett on the run. Has a defender behind her. Is able to get around her and one other defender. Ball played over to the near side, just beyond the foot of Goldbranson. It'll be trapped down. Cameron Reese on the dribble. Step over near the edge of the 18. Left-footed ball to the far side. Looking for Skinner Barrett. Skinner Barrett plays the ball towards goal. Goes wide of the mark. Skinner Barrett on the volley. Took the first touch. Got the ball in the air. Tried to take the shot with the right foot. Didn't have a lot of pace, but played more for accuracy, although it wasn't quite accurate enough. Back in the Chad and Ty Dombrowski days, UWM, Antu Yalo was a spectacular striker. UWM, consistently a top 20 team at that point in time. So much great high school talent in this area. We talk all the time about how Marquette consistently in the national rankings, Whitefish Bay high school-wise on the girls and boys side, very good teams almost every year. Substitute for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Haley Johnson will return.
Coming back from the Torrent, number 19, Haley Johnson.
Really are so many great coaches in this area that it's impossible even to name them all. But, you can go up and down the list. There is the club presence as well in this town. And oftentimes, too, we'll even mention over at DSHA, we talk about Steve Lawrence taking over as their head coach as we get a throw in here for Torrent. Played to the far side. Back to Wojcik. Inside the 18. Turn for Kelbel, but a Bavarians defender was right there to deflect it, and it'll go all the way back to Krakowski. Good step for Bavarians, and now they can go on the counter. Outstanding defensive work. We're going to get a whistle, and this might be a booking as down goes Goldbranson on the run. Unsurprisingly, yellow comes out for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Believe that's going to go against Emily Petring. Looked like she was the one who took down Goldbranson there. Indeed, Petring, the one who committed that foul.
Yellow card, FC Milwaukee Torrent, number 12, Emily Petring. Yellow card, number 12.
Might have looked worse from the officials' perspective than it did from our perspective, because Petring got a hand up around the shoulder. Although here is Petring on the run, plays the ball forward, but cannot find her target in Kelbel, and it's taken away by Bavarians. They clear just to see if they can also get something down the pitch as well, although unable to track it down for Bavs is the goal scorer Strobel in the match. But back on the foul, Petring got a hand up around the shoulder area from behind of Goldbranson, but didn't really put any pressure on with that hand. So the referee sees the hand, sees the player go down, and may think that she was pulled down. So in any situation there, it's a pretty clear yellow card. And it looks like we're going to have another yellow card here, perhaps, as our referee goes to his pocket and does pull out the caution card. We have to see who that one's on. Yep, a lot of contact on the part of Klein, and that may just be for repeated offenses against Chloe Klein. That will come in the 60th minute.
Yellow card, Bavarian United SC, number 2, Chloe Klein. Yellow card, Bavarians, number 2, Klein.
Andy Davi along the touchline saying he wanted that to be played as advantage for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Nonetheless, shot on, ricochets off the hands of the keeper, Goss. Goes out, and it will be a goal kick for Bavarians. FC Milwaukee Torrent surprised at that call, saying they thought that Goss was the last one who had the touch off of it, but Wes Bartels disagrees. We'll watch that back on replay after the set piece by Abby Hall. That set piece from 35 yards out, she put it on a line. Claiming that it was deflected was Haley Johnson. Johnson came up, made contact with the ball after it ricocheted off of Goss's arms, and immediately put her hand up after she made the challenge on Goss. And you can see the ball spinning forward, but it's hard to tell from what we see on video as to whether or not that was touched by the Torrent or not. Nonetheless, 61st minute, we are into the final third of this match, and Bavarians are going to have to chase this ball down before we get a throw in. And well, that's another opportunity for the Torrent. At some point, the Torrent have to take one of these opportunities and capitalize on it. Far side. Torrent dispossessed. A little bit of a push on the part of Lola Wojcik. Might be starting to experience some frustration. Torrent get it back, though. Kelbel tries to cross, deflected out. Another corner kick for FC Milwaukee Torrent. A Black Forest full of Bavarians getting set to go in for the Bavs. Chris Tadley shouting instructions off of the quick corner for FC Milwaukee Torrent, headed away by Bavarians. Lola Wojcik. Ball played to the near side. Still possessed by FC Milwaukee Torrent, although to an extent, multiple square balls and balls played back, moving in the wrong direction. Now get a little bit forward at least. Perhaps a flop on the part of Chloe Klein, who already is on a booking. She attempts to clear. Greta Hansen. Torrent trying to build once again from the back. Petring. Back to Krakowski. Among those ready to go in for Bavarians, Caden Schmidt. Carly Greenthal. Former Muskego product. Ball goes out to touch. Now we will see those substitutes come on. Mary Strobel, the goal scorer from earlier. Marissa Greshik.
Number 15, McKenna Bruning. Number 12, Carly Greenthal. Number 11, Peyton Wetzel. Number 7, Marissa
Peyton Wetzel comes on.
And number 3, Melina Knowles.
Melina Knowles also returns. Into the 18, too heavy of a touch for Maya Wilson. Cleared away again by Bavarians. And right now, Torrent applying plenty of attacking pressure, but Bavarians more than content to just keep on clearing it away. Not going to say that Bavarians have settled in the back, but definitely looking at more of a counter-attacking approach right now. First ball not there. Second ball looked like Bavs were offside. Nonetheless, they'll just let this roll. More than likely, this will was going to say go out over the goal line. Instead, chasing it down is Skinner Barrett to perhaps conserve some time. Hopma back to Skinner Barrett. Over the top. Only one there to potentially try and play it as Kelbel goes out to touch. Throw in for Bavarians. But a long-time hotbed of soccer, and again, the ethnic clubs here in town, Bavarians being one of them, really, in addition to the Croatians, Serbians, of course, the suburban clubs, ties between North Shore United and Bavarians, SC Wave, Elmbrook Soccer Club, now Elmbrook United, merger of the Brookfield and Elm Grove soccer clubs. Ball into the box. Easy for Hopma. Sends it away on a running punt. Possessed, though, by Bavarians. Schmidt plays it back. In trying to play it forward, Bavarians can't hold on to possession. A little side heel. That allows Bavarians to take possession back. Run after a ball played forward by Greshik, but it's too far forward for Strobel. And once again, the only one who can get there is Hopma. Far side, Hall. Deflected right back to her off her first pass. Second pass taken by Wojcik. She will play it back into the middle. Now to the near side, and Krakowski. Getting a run from Wilson. Instead decides to play it forward. Push, foul call against Bavarians. Some conversation with Wes Bartels by a couple of the players in the back, and he gives his whistle a second little toot and says, all right, who said that? Whoever it was. I don't want to hear any more of it. Krakowski lining up this free kick. Torrent keeping things spread out along the edge of the 18. Played towards the far side. Headed away at first by Bavarians. Hall gets past the first defender. Nice step over. Gives her some space to play a ball into the box. A lot of blue shirts there, but it is cleared away by Bavarians. Outstanding move and recovery on the part of Bavarians. Torrent able to maintain possession, though. Played backwards by Alberts. Second ball won by Torrent as well. Good ball forward from Hansen. There's space for Wilson. Wilson, right-footed ball, goes off the side of the net. For as much possession as Torrent have had this evening, they have not been able to piece together what they've needed to score a goal. But again, keep in mind, Bavarians scored 3 goals after the 82nd minute in the first match between these two sides. So certainly FC Milwaukee Torrent can do it as well. Down goes Petring. No whistle. Far side, there's the speed of Skinner Barrett, although she gets the first touch on it and cannot control it. Goes out to touch, and it'll be a throw-in for the Bavs. Not quite desperation time yet for the Torrent, but certainly the sense of urgency has to start kicking in at some point. We are into the 68th minute. The longer it goes, the more you feel like you're leaving things to chance. Flying challenge, foul called against Bavarians, and now you're starting to see Torrent coming up. And it was interesting when you see that result for Torrent against Kicks over the weekend where they end up winning 6-2. Now, yes, that match was level at 2-2 after the Torrent took a 2-0 advantage, but then they came out in the second half and just put Kicks away. And now you look at this tonight, and maybe you thought that dramatic victory for Torrent over Green Bay Glory last week Wednesday, that's another dangerous ball played backwards. Coming forward is Hopma to bail out Krakowski after that was a very similar ball to the one that the Bavs scored on in the first half. This will be headed backwards now by Greta Hansen, and that will allow Hopma to handle the ball, and she will play it over to the near side, and Krakowski, who will take it forward on the dribble. But you would have thought that maybe, with that being a good ball sent forward towards Kelbel, we'll hold that thought as Kelbel tries to cross, but it is deflected and spins harmlessly towards the keeper Goss, who will be able to handle it after a brief Torrent challenge. That maybe the Torrent had been brought to life by that literal viral moment, and we do mean viral. It's been shared in a couple different places. I have my own Pfeiffer Sports Facebook page and Instagram page that I've shared it on. FC Milwaukee Torrent shared it on their social media. As between all of those different posts, over 100,000 views. There have been a couple of aggregator sites that have picked that up and distributed further. This will be a throw-in. But before we get the throw-in, we will get the hydration break for the second half, as we are beyond the midway point of this second half and through three quarters, if you will, to use some of the terminology that has been virtually applied with the hydration breaks in the World Cup action. FC Milwaukee Torrent still down in this one 1-0. But you saw them explode for those 4 goals, and maybe you thought that lights out moment, quite literally, here at Hart Park last week Wednesday had lit a fire under FC Milwaukee Torrent. And we're not saying, again, that Torrent are out of this match or have not played well in this match, but if they don't get a result tonight, that's the end of their WPSL season. The way it is in the WPSL, you either win your conference or you go home. And if this result holds, Bavarians would finish the season with 24 points, FC Milwaukee Torrent with 23, and it would be the end of the WPSL campaign for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Now, Torrent will have at least one more match, no matter what happens, because they are headed to the USASA Amateur Cup. So they will play in the national semifinal because they are Region 2 champions as a result of beating Green Bay Glory in the regional championship earlier this year. So the Torrent are not done. And keep in mind, one of the things that we were told by Andy Davi is that for that match, because a lot of the D1 schools are calling their girls back as early as July 15th, you may see some Torrent alumni out there for FC Milwaukee Torrent in the USASA Amateur Cup. We will not reveal any of the names, but if you go back in time, you might see some names of the past when Torrent take the pitch up at E-Line, as, again, FC Milwaukee Torrent will once again be playing host to USASA events this year, much the way they did last year. Bit of an exciting thing for FC Milwaukee Torrent, and the folks at the United States Amateur Soccer Association have decided they like coming to Milwaukee, and it's also a nice thing with, again, E-Line. And we've talked quite a bit on the broadcast through the season about the differences between E-Line and Hart Park. One of the things E-Line affords you is it gives you the opportunity, if for whatever reason you have weather delays, however it may be. Substitutes, by the way, for the Bavarians here, coming back on, Abby Reinl along with Sophia England. But you have both Southeast Sales Power Sports Stadium and Pat Jones Field at E-Line Soccer Park. So if you need to, you can have matches going on in 2 different places at once. Pat Jones, a very intimate environment compared to the stadium pitch at E-Line Soccer Park, Southeast Sales Power Sports Stadium, and that stadium pitch, home of the WIAA Boys and Girls State Soccer Championships. Once upon a time, the U.S. Women's National Team even played a match at that stadium pitch. That was back when they had stands on the other side of the pitch. We even talk about Bob Spielman. He was involved with the Milwaukee Rampage and Milwaukee Wave United once upon a time. So, yeah, Torrent will be taking on Pan World Elite. And they have been champions of that USASA Amateur Cup. Very good team. So that will be quite the challenge again for Milwaukee Torrent, and also with FC Milwaukee Torrent being a side that will be missing a few components with some of their Division I players heading back to school, quite literally. So Torrent's season does not end tonight if they take a loss, but their WPSL campaign, their league campaign, does come to a close if they cannot get a goal, as this one is taken away by Bavarians, but Torrent able to fight to get it back. Strong play on Greshik. Contact from behind against Maya Wilson. Foul is called against Sophia England and Bavarians. Free kick for the Torrent. And for as much as the Torrent have had to scratch and claw just to get to this point tonight, again, that dramatic goal last week Wednesday that gave them 3 points against Glory. A late goal against Chicago House to get that 1-0 victory a week and a half ago. And it's a brief season, don't get me wrong. This season started at the end of May. It really only does take about a little over a month to get through the 10 matches of the WPSL season. But It's all built up to this for FC Milwaukee Torrent, and right now, if they can't get one more goal, they'll see their streak of 4 straight conference championships come to a close at the hands of one of their in-city rivals in this local derby of a match tonight between Torrent and Bavarians. Throw in for Babs. Little dummy works out for Greshik. Tries to cross it into the middle. Cleared away momentarily by Krakowski just outside the 18. Good work over there by Albert. She's able to get it wide to the wing. Skinner Barrett plays the ball long. Torrent are onside. Ball played towards the middle. Torrent on the counter. Step over. Johnson. Looking to the far side. Wojcik challenged. Numerous second balls. Possession still being fought for. Now, 1, 2, headers, high bouncing ball. Neither team able to establish possession. This will be chased down by Krakowski, although she's being challenged immediately by Reinl. She'll play it all the way back to the keeper, Hopma. Chaotic soccer here, push on the part of Meg Mrowicki. It'll get called by our referee Bartels, and that will result in a free kick for FC Milwaukee Torrent. And we've seen the Babs take their shots once in a while here. Mentioned they're a physical team, and they are unintimidated by anyone, as you would expect. There's a lot of confidence when you put on that blue and white badge. Again, a club with over a century's worth of history, and we mentioned all of those great ethnic clubs here in Milwaukee, but the first name you have to mention is Bavarians. Ball in the middle, headed to its goal, it's on and in! It's on and in! Torrent get the equalizer! When they needed it most! Off the free kick by Krakowski. It is headed in by Petring. Emily Petring sees the ball take a hop and plays it into the net off her head. We are level at 1. It comes in the 77th minute. And how fitting would it be if the solidness of this new Hart Park turf is what makes the difference this year for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Subs come on for Bavarians, quite a few of them.
First, FC Milwaukee Torrent.
And now this match takes on an entirely different tone. Petring,
the goal comes in the 77th minute.
As physical as the Bavarians have been,
Petring, 77th minute.
basically pushes Meg Cornell out of the way. And remember, Cornell got sent off in the first match between these two teams. Also, weathers a challenge by the keeper, Goss. Stands in, toughs it out, and scores the goal FC Milwaukee Torrent needed. Bavarians, though, still with an opportunity. Offside flag does not go up at first. Now it does. As Bavarians are too far ahead of the Torrent back line. It has been a season of gigantic goals for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Reinl was the one offsides for Babs. And as big as many of them have been this year, while that one at the end of the match against Glory might spiritually feel like the hugest, in terms of the essential result to put Torrent through to the postseason, keeping in mind there is still a lot of football left to be played, that one might make the difference. And keep in mind it comes in the 77th minute, the same minute the Torrent scored that goal against Glory to make it 2-1. Of course, we saw 2 more goals before that one got done. Still plenty of time left in this one. Remember, Bavarians, again, we'll repeat it. First meeting between these two sides scored in the 82nd, 90th, and 90+2. In fact, it was Lola Wojcik who scored in the 77th minute against Bavarians. That made that match 3-0. Again, a tie puts Torrent through. They wouldn't mind getting another goal, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you don't want to do anything too risky to put yourself in a position where Bavarians can get that goal to go back on top. Torrent still playing pretty far forward, though. Ball played by Alberts. Coming up is Goss. She collects, then sends it away. Headed at first by the Torrent and Alberts, far side. Possession finally established by Kelbell for the Torrent. Plays it along the touchline. Well challenged. Gets a little ahead of her, but touched out over the touchline. Throw in for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Does this change your strategy if you're FC Milwaukee Torrent when you have it in the attacking third? And look at the Bavarians running over to get that soccer ball quickly. They don't want to see the Torrent wasting time. Substitute at the table right now for Bavarians. It's Strobel. She was the goal scorer for them very early in the match in the 17th minute. Likely to come on at the next opportunity. And again, give the Bavarians more of an attacking presence. Deflected out into the Torrent technical area. That will allow Strobel to come on. Before the throw-in by Krakowski for the Torrent, Strobel
Coming back on for the Babs, number 13, Mary Strobel.
does make her way onto the pitch. She will replace Reinl. Maybe a tad surprised Reinl doesn't stay out there as someone who can also go on the attack. Torrent adjudged to be offsides. Layla Kelbell, one step too far. Babs will restart quickly. A goal that absolutely changed the tenor of this match for the Torrent and Emily Petring. Misplayed ball for the Babs. Coming up, Klein. Headed at first by Hansen, but not with any direction. Ball forward. Challenge in the box. Referee says no whistle. Second ball, up and over the top of the goal. Rising to her feet, with teammates around her, with their arms in the air, Mary Strobel, perhaps wondering if she should have been awarded a PK. But Wes Bartels, we have said all night long, it has to be very clear for him to make the call. Such as it is. Krakowski came over, made contact, and when you watch the video back, which we're able to do up here in the box, even though Bavarians have it at the edge of the 18, Strobel kind of threw herself into Krakowski, then went to the ground. We may be just a shade biased here, Alistair McAllister, but tend to believe that that was Strobel trying to create the contact to initiate the foul. And oftentimes when you try to create that contact to initiate the foul, you're not going to get the call. Handled by Hotma. She'll send it away on the punt. Controlled by Bavarians. Good ball to the near side. Knowles played towards the middle. Babs looked like they were on offside. Shot wide of the mark. You can definitely see the sense of urgency for the Bavarians in the 83rd minute. And they are working these balls across the pitch against this Torrent back line that at times has been susceptible to through balls. Taking her time at first to get the ball was Hotma. The official prompted her to head back in the direction of where the ball actually was, as she perhaps purposely ran in the wrong direction. This will be headed forward by Torrent. Babs working quickly. The height of Meg Merwicki. She heads it out into touch. Throw in for the Torrent. Gamesmanship on the part of the Torrent. Petring, who right now has the goal that could put the Torrent through to the postseason, drops the soccer ball. Krakowski to throw it in. 84th minute again. Kelbell. Veteran presence. Great ball. Lola Wojcik. How great have they both been on the attack for the Torrent through these 5 years that they have looked like champions in this conference. Out to touch. Corner kick FC Milwaukee Torrent. It is becoming a legacy for this FC Milwaukee Torrent women's side. Consistent greatness. Andy Davi having a conversation with the fourth official. Clearly something he did not like. Then again, not uncommon for Andy Davi to be having conversations with officials. Outswinger on the corner, headed along the edge of the 6. Krakowski, second ball, over the top of everyone. Babs will head it momentarily. Skinner Barrett got ahead on it. Sends it over to the far side. By the way, we hear a loud cheer coming from over at left's Lucky Town. Presumably, that's another goal for the United States team. That's also going on. 85th minute of the match here. It is worth noting the U.S. did go down a man. This is the ball forward. Bavarians, edge of the 18. 1v1 against the keeper. Shot on and in! Bavarians get a goal in the 86th minute and go up 2-1. It was a ball played forward from the back. And all alone, goal scored by the Bavarians in the 86th minute. Still trying to get a beat on just who exactly it was. Because it came from behind the midfield stripe, the offside flag really had no effect. Another chance for the Bavarians. Pulled in by Hopma. Desperation time now for the Torrent. Whistle. Contact in the back. Conversation as one of the Bavarian players goes down. We are still looking back at the goal. For Bavarians. Try and determine just who exactly scored that goal. Foul against Torrent. Another cheer coming from left's Lucky Town. Of course, we're tracking that as well. Appears as though the goal was scored by Senna Haynes. Senna Haynes for the Bavarians. We have an ID on the goal scorer, top goal scorer on the season for the Bavarians, 8th goal of the year, and if that does put Bavarians through, it would be perfectly fitting. Had to magnify everything to 300%, but we think we've got it. Assist to Strobel. By the way, we are almost a minute away from stoppage time while we've been looking back at the goal.
Coming up for the Bavarians, number 6, Abby Reinl.
Abby Reinl returns for Bavarians on a substitution. Correction on that assist. That assist, not Strobel. She was in the area. She was the first one to come over to give 5 to Senna Haynes, but Chloe Klein over on that far side of the pitch was the one who made the pass. Torrent player goes down, and time now really running out on FC Milwaukee Torrent. Even just looking back at the development, Torrent had a throw-in. A touch for Skinner Barrett. It was taken away by Bavarians. And then a ball over the top. And Senna Haynes was unmarked with no one 5 yards around her. And she came forward with the dribble. And there was basically nothing but goal in front of her. The only one who could stop her was Hopma. And she found a way to beat her. We will have 5 minutes of stoppage time, and we are into that stoppage time. Torrent are going to need a goal in that stoppage time if they're going to keep their WPSL season alive. The Torrent have gotten so many key late goals this year. Do they have one more in the satchel? Played backwards by Rhino. Possessed by Torrent. One touch. Petring had the goal earlier. Played to the near side. Two defenders. Torrent maintained possession. Played back to Krakowski. Through the middle. Nobody there from either side. Cleared down the pitch by Bavarians. Entering the second minute of stoppage time. The Torrent playing for their WPSL lives. Crossed, run by Petring. Flag does not go up at first. Petring takes a shot. It goes in! No flag! 92nd minute! A brace for Petring! An amazing finish! There's still time, but the Torrent have gotten the equalizer they've needed twice in this match now. And if this result holds, Torrent would go through. It has been a campaign almost in line with that of the 1989 Green Bay Packers, the Cardiac Pack. If the Torrent can get dream goals late in matches, they have. Challenge for Bavarians. Ball played towards net, goes wide of the mark.
The goal comes in the 92nd minute. Goal, FC Milwaukee Torrent number 12, Petring, 92nd minute.
What a campaign for FC Milwaukee Torrent, and it has turned moment to moment in nearly every one of the last 3 matches that we have seen here at Hart Park. If there were any more drama in this season for FC Milwaukee Torrent, as that's a ball in the middle, but Hopma able to come off her line. You can probably hear me take a deep breath right now, folks. Just a crazy, crazy, crazy finish to this season for FC Milwaukee Torrent. A crazy second half to the season. Some issues in terms of stall tactics for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Petring takes that shot and then flexes on him after she scores. Bavarians, though, with a throw-in in the attacking third. This is the 4th minute of stoppage time again. Minimum of 5 minutes allotted. Edge of the 18, Skinner Barrett. 2 touches and a clearance back out into touch. Another throw-in for Babs. The ball goes up in the stands. That does not help the Bavarians out. They have to go and retrieve another ball. Played along the track, out in touch, so that Bavarians can get a throw-in faster. Little hesitancy on the throw. Sent inside the 18. Headed momentarily by the Torrent. Can they get a clearance? Deflection on the first one. It goes under the feet. Then we get a collision. Player goes down. Edge of the 18. Now cleared by FC Milwaukee Torrent. Cornell, far side. Bavarians now just trying to play any ball forward they can get. Torrent just trying to send it to the other side of the pitch. Over the top, looking for Kelbel. 50-50 ball. Out to touch, throw in for Bavarians. They'll take it quickly as they need to. Klein. Knocked about. Sent towards the near side touchline by Torrent. Into the 5th minute of stoppage time. Sliding challenge on the part of Petring, who has both goals for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Sent forward by Bavarians. Look at the effort on the run, but they can't chase it down. Goldbranson just didn't have the motor. On this steamy hot night in Wauwatosa, Krakowski will take her time. Heads to the touchline. We are now into a 6th minute of stoppage time. We said minimum 5. Whistle could blow at any moment. Out to touch. Throw in for Bavarians. Running over quickly is Klein. Helped out by the manager, Tadley. He retrieves the ball for Klein. Run up from the track. Thrown into the box. Hit it away at first by FC Milwaukee Torrent. If they can get a clearance, that might be the title. Whistle. Foul against Bavarians. Waiting. Torrent taking their time for the free kick. Referee looks at his watch. A hesitation move. Sent away by Hall. Bavarians might get one more chance if they can get it down the pitch quickly. Krakowski comes up, though, sends it down the pitch. All eyes on referee Wes Bartels right now. Kelbel spins around, surrounded by 3 Bavarians. Somehow gets through them. And she heads towards the corner. Out to touch. Throw in for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Torrent can just play the ball into the corner and try and hold it. Sitting out in touch. Bavarians come over and say, hey, we're going to help you out with this. Krakowski comes up. She will be the one to make the throw. Quickly handed the ball by Becca Steckman. Krakowski throws it towards the corner. Bavarians, 50-50 ball. Cleared momentarily by Bavarians. We may end up in a 7th minute of stoppage time. There's the whistle! We won't have a 7th minute of stoppage time, but we will have a 5th straight conference championship for FC Milwaukee Torrent. The Torrent have needed miracle after miracle in 2026 to keep this WPSL season alive, but every time they have needed one, they have got one. And once again, they are Lakeshore Conference champions, and they will move on to the WPSL postseason as a result of this 2-2 draw against Bavarian United SC. Petring with the brace. Goals in the 77th minute and the 2nd minute of stoppage time.
2 goals by Emily Petring for a brace in the 77th and
Bavarians did get goals in the 17th minute and the 85th minute. Strobel with the goal in the 17th. Haynes with the goal in the 85th. But Torrent get just what they need. Bavarians go through the WPSL season without a loss, but they are still unable to claim the conference crown. Torrent with 8 wins in 10 tries. 1 loss to House, 2 draws against the Bavarians. And that's enough to give Torrent the conference crown for a 5th straight year. In a season that started with the Torrent not even having a home ground to play on. They have gotten their 5th straight conference crown. It took a goal as the lights went out a week ago. It took a goal in the 2nd minute of stoppage time tonight. It took a goal in a scoreless match against House in the final 10 minutes of regulation. Anything the Torrent have needed late, they have somehow dug into their pockets and been able to find. A dramatic season for FC Milwaukee Torrent, and it continues on. Andy Davi gathering his club along the touchline to take a championship picture, and he tells the girls to put up a number 5. The campaign continues on for FC Milwaukee Torrent. We'll have to see where they get assigned, as they will have to go up against one of the other conference champions from the Central region. Being told that it's likely to be in Minnesota. Nothing official just yet, though, but my goodness. It was not long before the final whistle that it looked very much in doubt for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Emily Petring with both the keeper Goss and a defender around her, and she finds a way. That'll do it for our broadcast tonight. I want to say thanks to everyone involved. Andy Davi, team owner, head coach, Kevin O'Connor, all of our people that help out with everything that goes on. My name is Dan Pfeiffer saying be a fan. Thanks for watching, and do tune in again next time, including Friday night when the men go up against Michigan Rangers FC, 7 p.m. start time for that match on July 3rd. But tonight, FC Milwaukee Torrent claims their 5th straight Lakeshore Conference Championship. Final score, Torrent 2, Bavarians 2. This has been FC Milwaukee Torrent Women's Soccer on the FC Milwaukee Torrent YouTube channel.